part of the reason why I don't really talk about Hila all that much is because, oh God, they're going to clip this and they're going to freak out over this too. All right, let's watch this BadEmpanada video.
Now we will discuss the most pressing issue of our time. Should Hasan Piker go to Gaza or not? This is the latest hot button topic among all the dumbest people in the world on both sides.
Both sides. This is not even a thing that I have like, this is a thing that I barely mention that the pro-Israel coalition of slop tubers have made into a talking point over and over again.
Both Hasan Piker for even bringing up this possibility in the first place.
I didn't bring it up on my own. I didn't just like magically decide one day, oh, I'm going to go to Gaza. I was talking to journalists that are in Gaza and journalists that work with Al Jazeera about potentially going to Gaza. It was more so an invitation. And I said that the only way that I could make it up, the only way that I could, do this is if I could get assurances in terms of security. There's a reason why no Western journalists have also gotten into Gaza. I assume he means, why bring it up on stream? I'm not saying he's right. No, I know that that's what he's saying. And in that process, I also maintain the position that it is virtually impossible to get guarantees from Israel, which is why it's most likely never going to happen.
And all the morons who were like, oh, why did he change his mind? Why won't he go to Gaza now? So this all begins with Hasan Piker a couple of weeks ago bringing up this abominably stupid, incredibly naive and childish idea for reasons that I'm going to explain to you in a minute. On whatever this is, like a dude bro gym tan laundry podcast.
Dude, I might actually take Marsh with me to Gaza.
I don't know who Marsh is.
Oh.
Gaza? Yeah.
Marsh, you can say no.
I already asked him. He said yes.
I'm not going to Gaza.
I was not asking you to go to Gaza.
Well, I don't like that I'm not invited now.
I do kind of have a little bit of FOMO, Cutie and I.
This is such a weird interaction. What the hell?
Both.
We want to go to Gaza.
Why did you say it like it was a designer brand?
Yeah, I'm working on it right now, but
This is like talking about going to Auschwitz the way they're talking about it, man. Come on.
Who knows what'll happen?
Is it dangerous?
Yeah. Yes.
Comments want to cancel Cutie? Oh, God.
Hasan, seriously.
The dangerous part isn't actually the reason why he can't go to Gaza, by the way. It has almost nothing to do with it. I'll explain why once we go after the detractors.
So you should.
Yeah, these are not detractors. Like, these are... Not everyone is as tapped in as BadEmpanada is. I like that you're the token woke. I support BadEmpanada as a leftist content creator, but as a real asshole. Yeah, and also... He has the it's not purity politics. He's just, he has the same attitude that a lot of like old school leftists have, where it's just like so hard line. The expectation is like everyone else is supposed to be as knowledgeable as him. Like no charity whatsoever to people, instantly dismissive. We just have a difference in opinion on how to change people's minds. Okay, that's it. And I'm not even talking about my podcast co-host here. Like and there's a place for people like BadEmpanada. Like he plays a very important role as a provocateur, who I believe has like somewhat of a dogmatic approach to these sorts of things, and it's understandable. Yeah, but he is the guy who doesn't listen to me when I say be normal. When I tell you guys be normal, know your audience. You are literally misinterpreting what is being said in this video. You are doing the same thing. No, I'm just defending my podcast co-host that he's like ripping into. Like, this is not a political podcast. These are not political people. They're not equipped to having this conversation in a serious matter. And his criticism is as though like these are people who are like I don't know, liberal Zionists or something. Like they're just oblivious. And if someone is oblivious, but they also pro-Palestine in general, they are all pro-Palestine. But if someone is overall not spending any amount of time, like saying pro-Israeli or defending Israel, and are otherwise pro-Palestine, like I don't consider anyone, not my friends, but just like any random individual, my enemy, my ideological enemy, because I'm not a insane person. That's not how you engage in any sort of like coalition building in general.
Should consider. I'm worried about you.
What an extremely weird interaction that was. That's just really weird. Anyway, so now Hasan's detractors have been responding to him because Hasan changed his mind. He doesn't want to go to Gaza anymore. So
that's also not what happened. None of this is correct. A suggestion was made to me, and I was working on it at the time, and it did not work out for understandable reasons, because every single person I talked to about putting this together said that you have complete security inside of Gaza. There will, you'll be fine with a political envoy, but there is just no way that we can assure you that Israel won't drone strike you. That's it. Like this was the common take from every single person.
This first clip from Slop YouTube,
and that was my position from the jump anyway. That if I had any way of going in during the ceasefire period, yes, I absolutely would have, because I think it's important to have, it's important to showcase hands-on directly the atrocities that have taken place. And it's not just me. It's like any Western reporter going into Gaza would have been a good thing in the ceasefire period, which is precisely the reason why Israel said no.
No one knows why this guy's famous. Like, he makes videos where he plays video games and rants incoherently about saluting the troops, and like, I have no clue who this guy is, what he's famous for. Just another example of the like randomness of getting big on YouTube.
All right, they're above the whole drama side of the internet because I guess they're covering like politics. I've never actually seen any form of political action. I've never seen any canvassing done by this guy.
Okay, I'm going to repeat something that I've been saying quite a bit. You are not a baby, Mutahar. You have object permanence. Just because you haven't seen it doesn't mean that it is not happening. You can just search. You can just look and see. And as a matter of fact, I think even scratching the surface a little bit would allow Mutahar to recognize that, no, this community, myself, we have done a bunch of direct political action, especially when you consider, like, even going to the pro-Palestinian encampments directly. Canvassing is not the only political action that I have engaged in, even though I have done that as well, for Bernie Sanders, of course. But that was many years ago. Political action takes many forms, especially in a country that is like, especially in a country that's run by a duopoly. You have to be outside of that duopoly when you're engaging in political action, whether it be fundraisers, whether it be awareness campaigns, which I do virtually every single day, interviewing politicians, interviewing organizers, interviewing labor activists, interviewing labor leaders, the chairman of the FTC. Like, what are we? It always feels weird when I'm defending myself, interviewing wildfire firefighters that are incarcerated, working with a local organizer and doing direct mutual aid in Skid Row, while also simultaneously talking to people that ahead of time gave consent and wanted to be on camera to humanize homeless people. All of these things are, maybe you don't agree with my position on any of this, but those are all political actions. Now, a lot of this stuff is also, fundraising for Amazon Labor Union, fundraising for, immigrant charities, interviewing politicians alongside political action groups that defend undocumented migrants, going to Japan, interviewing the Japanese Communist Party leadership. I don't know. There's so much. It's so stupid. Interviewing direct genocide survivors like Mutahar in my home, or interviewing the now Oscar award winning documentarians from the West Bank, Also at my home. These are all moments of political activation and activism. Are they mad you don't take credit for everything you do? I don't know. It just feels very strange because even if I didn't do any of that and simply did political awareness campaigns from my house, that would still be inherently a political act. Okay? Going to strikes, covering them. Like all this stuff is those are all political actions. When did you canvass your community? I did it for Bernie Sanders, but I don't know why. Where is he lying though? Why haven't you called your community? Are you a baby? Did you just not hear any of the words that came out of my mouth? I never saw you at UCLA. You're joking, right? Why lie? Lamau, Hasan, you didn't do any of that. Why lie? I never saw you at UCLA. Oh, this is so sad. I know you're joking, chatter, but there are people who unironically think this. Also, yeah, thank you for the bait. That was really good. Also, just Google it, okay? And as far as canvassing goes, that is not the end-all be-all of political activism. What the f*** are you talking about? I was literally at the DNC. What do you mean? When did you canvass? I did not canvass for Kamala Harris. Yes, I didn't. The f*** are you talking about? What is this expectation that the only... So Mutahar did not lie? No, you baboon. Mutahar did lie by saying you've never engaged in any political action. You've never canvassed, which is already a lie. As I told you, I did canvass. I did not canvass for Kamala Harris. That does not mean that I didn't do any sort of political action. Why is your definition of political action simply canvassing for a candidate that was dog shit? Did you ever rally your community to canvass? As a matter of fact, this community did canvass for Kamala Harris. What the f*** are you talking about? Yes, we mobilize every election cycle, regardless. Yes. I also literally went to the DNC, interviewed Democratic Party politicians. What are you talking about? Interviewed the uncommitted protesters. You are just simply, telling the people to vote. Oh my God, doesn't count. Man, shut the f*** up. Shut up, please. You don't have a point here. You are unable to comprehend that political action is not simply just door knocking for Kamala Harris. Okay? If that is your narrow definition of political action, then you're a baboon. Just because you have not watched does not change the reality that it did not happen. Oh my God. Even if I were to go out and canvass, you'd be like, well, you didn't knock on my door. Bro's like, you didn't do any political canvassing. I literally lent support to Greg Kazar, who is now the head of the Progressive Caucus. What are you talking about? That is also canvassing, you dumb I also voted on camera. Oh my God, why am I responding to this person? Why you ban? Why do I ban? Because I don't want to keep having a back and forth conversation with a person who has no interest in understanding the truth and is simply in here to talk over and over again. And because I'm so autistic, I can't stop myself from constantly correcting this person's idiotic and they know this, so they just keep changing, moving the goalposts over and over again. Free speech? What the are you talking about? Free speech? Getting banned from a Twitch chat for being a moron is not free speech. Arresting someone in the dead of the night for not a crime that they've committed, but instead for their political advocacy is actually a violation of free speech.
So no, I don't exactly understand how exactly canvassing for like a Democratic Party candidate would possibly ever be more effective politically than speaking to like hundreds of thousands of people about politics. Like you go to some grandma's door and try to tell her not to vote for Trump. How is that possibly a better use of your time as someone with a platform that gets to hundreds of thousands of people than just talking to those hundreds of thousands of people? What a dumb thing to say.
I'll actually go as far as to say it like this.
Also, it was a lie. Like he literally said, I've never seen this guy ever do any political action, which I corrected, and that dumb was still like, well, you didn't canvass, so where did he lie?
Like politics. I
did canvass, just not for Kamala Harris. I'm not going to canvass for a person who is not. There is no way that I can get people to to vote for Kamala Harris by outflanking or outright lying about her positions. The do you mean? She had horrible positions and she lost for that reason.
Never actually seen any form of political action. I've never seen any canvas.
Yeah, see, I've never seen any form of political action. That is an objectively untrue statement. This is precisely the reason why I explained a number of different things that I've done in terms of political action. It's just shit you don't care about. It's not like you weren't open to the idea either. You literally said she would sign an arms embargo into law. You would buy a bus and door knock across the country. I know, but that doesn't matter.
Canvassing done by this guy.
Just to know, I don't exactly understand how exactly canvassing for like a Democratic Party speak and try to tell her not to vote for Trump. How is that possibly a better use of your time as someone with a platform that gets to hundreds of thousands of people than just talking to those hundreds of thousands of people? What a dumb thing to say.
You know, that also is true. And I did tell my platform of hundreds of thousands of people to not vote for Donald Trump.
Actually go as far as to say it like this. I will, on my own dime, pay for both of. How about this? At my own dime and my own expense, and like, you know, I'll give up my days of work and making serious money. I will fly both of us down.
Like you wouldn't make.
Damn, dude. Yeah, money was the object here in terms of going into Gaza and not the genocidal apartheid regime. This in and of itself, either deliberately, this in and of itself, for the record, is another form of Holocaust denial, genocide denial, where you are so stupid that you unintentionally are making it seem as though it's somewhere that you can just go to and that money is the actual object here. That's not the problem, you superficial moron. You think I don't have money? What are you, stupid? I thought that everybody knew I was like the fake socialist because I'm so rich. I'm so caked up. I thought that was the other side of this equation. How about this, dude? I'll give Mutahar $100,000 on top of everything else, on top of covering his entire expenses, if he straps himself with a camera and goes to Gaza and interviews people in my stead. How about that? Put a press vest on it too, dumbass. As though that's the hurdle here. Go ahead, dude. They're killing Western World Central Kitchen aid workers that literally were getting that were there with the Israeli government's go ahead. Bro, why do you say such dumb shit like OMG? What do you mean? What? Yeet is gonna clip this? What are you talking about? If you understand that is like straight up a death sentence, then you understand the point that he's making. Or do you understand the point that I'm making? Sorry. The f are you guys talking about? Of course it's not going to happen. That's my point. Me saying exactly what Mutahar is saying in reverse is the exact thing that he's saying. It's just not going to happen. And it's not because of money.
Make a ton of money from something like this.
Both me and him to Israel, and we will drive across.
Yeah, we're going to go to Israel first, too. Not even to the Rafah border. We're not even through the border of Egypt. We're going to fly into Israel, and then we're going to be able to walk into Gaza. Like, you are so delusional. You should be fearful to talk about politics if you're this stupid about politics. Yeah, we're just going to drive in. We're just going to drive into the concentration camp, dude. Israel's totally going to let us do that. Like, if you knew anything about what the is going on in the world, on that part of the world, in Israel, you could at least ask the question, I wonder why American journalists have not actually entered the Gaza Strip, with one notable exception. The only people that are allowed into Gaza from Western press can only go alongside onboarded IDF vessels, okay? You can't just walk into Gaza. Israel will kill you. What are you saying? If you could just walk into Gaza, that means you could walk out of Gaza. If you could just walk out of Gaza, why aren't the Gazans walking out of Gaza? Oh, my Lord.
The border and like actually, do some real journalism on our own.
It's crazy that this whole thing started in conversation with Jeremy Scale and him, in which him as a journalist thanks you directly for all you do as on your platform. Yeah.
I will pay for all of it myself, okay? I will do it on my dime. I will get them there, and that's it. Simple as that. That's my offer that I put up there. Okay.
So this is genuinely just insane, just on the face of it. We're going to get to like other reasons in a second. So the first reason is that Hasan Parker would never be allowed into Israel. Not just into Gaza. He would never be allowed into.
Yeah, he's 100% right on this as well. That's the other side of this. Like, what a stupid ass statement, dude.
Israel constantly refuses entry to anyone for the most banal of political reasons, even if they don't know who you are, and they do know who you are. If you are at all, like even slightly prominent on social media, they already do know who you are. We'll get to that in a minute. If
I've been to Gaza and have friends that have went recently, I know the ins and outs. No chance you will be allowed to pass Rafah. Egyptians via the Israelis will not allow you. There is literally no way. The only way that I would be able to go in was with a humanitarian aid group. It's just not happening. It's not.
If they have any reason to suspect you, like you have, say, an irregular beard, you look sort of Muslim, you have a Muslim-sounding name, they will take you aside and go through your phone for 12 hours to make sure you don't, like, follow anyone who they have on their list of no follows or anything. And if they find that...
Ironically, I'm probably one of the most on the no list of follows.
If they find something there, you'll be refused entry. So someone like Hasan Parker, who is like a prominent streamer, millions of people know who he is, he would not be allowed entry into Israel, obviously. Into Israel in the first place. Not even talking about Gaza, into Israel. You would very probably not be allowed into Israel because you're Muslim. Though given your pro-Israel propaganda videos that you've made lately, perhaps they would give you the grace of letting you in. You'd certainly at least get harassed at the border though, just for your name and for being brown. Israel even refuses entry to basically anyone. Like, look at, like, Norman Finkelstein was refused entry to Israel. Norman Finkelstein is a two-status, by the way. Jewish two-status, refuse entry to Israel. Not just refuse entry, but detain for like 24 hours before being deported. They don't just refuse you entry, they detain you and like psychologically torture you for a while before they deport you. Noam Chomsky was refused entry to Israel. Again, Chomsky is a two-status. Recently, just like search denied entry to Israel. You'll find even EU lawmakers denied entry to Israel. Sent there as part of an official delegation by the EU, which is literally an Israel-supporting polity, denied entry for criticizing Israel. Now, this is Israel proper. Israel proper is obviously, even aside from the fact it's obviously all occupied, it's an incredibly important tourism destination and religious destination because Israel occupies a ton of, ancient religious heritage and stuff like that many people want to see for whatever reason, religious or tourism or otherwise. And they constantly deny people entry purely political reasons. Now, Israel also controls the border to Gaza and the West Bank, and the conditions for entry there are even more stringent than those for Israel itself. Just last year, for example, a fairly unknown British activist of the Green Party was denied entry to the West Bank from Jordan. He was detained for 5 hours as border officials went through his phone, violating his privacy, while he was in the room with them, by the way, holding the phone up to him and screaming at him constantly. And he's actually not even Muslim, he's Hindu. He's not a part of any sort of anti-Israel organization. He's a part of an anti-Modi organization, that's all. And he was denied entry into the West Bank by Israel. This is not even someone who's very well known. None of you have ever heard of this person. He's not even a Green Party MP or anything. He's just a candidate. No one knows who this guy is. He was denied entry into the West Bank by Israel. Hasan Parker is not going to be allowed into Israel or the West Bank. And I haven't even gotten to Gaza yet. We haven't even gotten to Gaza. Israel has not let...
Yeah, and also, Ayşenur Ezgi is was an American citizen of Turkish background, and she was in the West Bank, and the Israeli occupying force sniper shot her in the head and killed her. An American citizen, one of many American citizens that Israel has directly killed, okay? And nothing came of that. The American government did not even criticize Israel over that. I hate that other people's stupidity on this stuff becomes my problem. I hate that so much. I hate that so much. Like, Mutahar is a moron. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. He might be very smart about Linux and other but when it comes to politics, he is a moron, an imbecile, okay? He does not have any understanding of Israel or Palestine or anything. And it's shocking that people have this confidence to talk about these issues in a way where they can present themselves seemingly to other morons that also don't know anything as though they know some things, you know, like, oh, the hypocrisy. If you knew a fraction of what Israel does to social media influencers, not even just straight up journalists, okay, you would know that this is, you know that there are very serious setbacks here. And the only reason why this became a much larger problem or quote unquote drama is because that other moron that wants to defend Israel every step of the way has been using this as an opportunity to just crack jokes. That's his advocacy for, you know, as the pro-Palestinian position, as the pro-Palestinian advocate that he is. You just keep saying, "Ha, lol, I'm thinking about going to Gaza," as a meme. It's gross as Which one? There's like 5. I'm talking about Ethan Klein, dude. And in the process of saying that, they're also lying about Israel's conduct. It is a very cynical way to try and make it seem as though there's safe passage into Israel, or to claim as though there's any sort of like safety or security assurances given by Israel, or rather that the real fear is Hamas inside of the Gaza Strip. Like, that's what Hamas is going to do. They're going to, they're going to force me at gunpoint. They're going to take me hostage. They're going to be like, oh yeah, finally, sick, an American. Let's take him hostage as a bargaining chip. It's so stupid. They're stupid. That's the point. But in that stupidity, they're also doing propaganda for Israel. My fear of going into Gaza or anywhere else really is not, it doesn't stem from like Hamas. They're not barbaric animals that have no that have no way of like thinking about anything other than just like, oh, there's a non-Palestinian here, time to take him hostage. If that was the case, why haven't they taken aid workers hostage, you moron? Why have they not taken World Central Kitchen aid workers hostage? There are non-Palestinians that operate inside of Gaza. Why are they not constantly taking them hostage then? If they're just like, if that's the only goal that they have is to take people hostage. Doctors Without Borders doctors that operate inside of these hospitals. Why are they not taking them hostage at gunpoint? It's so stupid. Why wouldn't Hamas take you hostage? Why the would they take me hostage? What are you, stupid? Just like they wouldn't take journalists hostage either. What are you talking about? Oh my God. It's the same reason why the Viet Cong didn't take Jane Fonda hostage. Why the did they take her hostage? Are you stupid? They understand the necessity for awareness of the plight of the Palestinians. The is wrong with you? You think they're just like, do you think they're like monkeys or something? What do you mean? If that was the case, first of all, yeah. Imagine, yeah, Hamas takes me hostage. Israel's not fighting for my ass. What are you talking about? Israel will be like, where is he? Tell us so we can bomb him. Bargain chip? I'm not well informed enough. I was just wondering. No, I'm not a bargaining chip, dude. What are you talking about? There are far better bargaining chips that Hamas hasn't taken hostage. Think. Critical thinking. It's a great necessity.
Let any foreigners into Gaza, aside from humanitarian or medical stuff, for the entire duration of the genocide. No one. The only journalists who have been allowed into Gaza are embedded with the IDF and given like a chaperone tour of what the IDF wants them to see.
The only instance where a Western journalist was able to sneak into Gaza was literally CNN's Clarissa Ward, the last ceasefire period, and she was able to sneak alongside the Qatari, the Qatari aid workers. That's it. That's the only time where like a Western journalist was able to do that. And obviously Clarissa Ward is not the best journalist. We know that already, but. And no, that was valuable coverage that she offered in that process. Guess what? They didn't detain her. Hamas didn't actually kidnap her. I wonder why.
This moron's like, I'll pay for it. I'll pay for it. All I need to do is pay for it. You can tell these people know nothing about the world, because in no world where someone knows anything would they ever say something like that. Israel literally has an outright ban on foreign journalists entering Gaza. Outright ban. Only very few are allowed to enter, and it's with the Israeli military, okay? That's why almost all reporting comes from Palestinian journalists. because they were there before the genocide began. They're the only ones who can report. And we're going to get into what happens to them soon and what happens to foreign aid workers. Now, if you're a foreign aid worker in Gaza, you're just as much risk as the Palestinians are of being killed. In just a year, 300 aid workers were killed. There were multiple attacks on convoys, very targeted attacks. They literally directly targeted World Central Kitchen aid convoy at one point. Let me show you the picture. That's a nice little precision strike, isn't it? Being a foreigner in Gaza, even if you...
That was a Western foreign aid organization led by a dude who was pro-Israel at the time, okay? Led by a dude who was pro-Israel at the time. The Israeli government themselves invited World Central Kitchen to Gaza to do propaganda to make it seem like, see, we're letting humanitarian aid in. Here's one of the most famous humanitarian aid organizations on the planet. They triple tapped that convoy full of Western aid workers, like vets, like British vets. Notice the bomb. Notice where the drone strike hit, right on top of the World Central Kitchen logo. It's on the roof of the car.
If you somehow manage to get in, does not protect you. Now, the notion of even being able to get in is impossibly naive. And Hasan, it's embarrassing for Hasan that he even put forward that possibility. He's not...
Shut up, dude. You don't know. You don't know, okay? This was suggested to me from people that are in Gaza, okay? God damn it. He's making it seem like I just like casually brought it up on my own, that I wasn't like actively... Oh, anyway, whatever.
Not getting into Israel, let alone Gaza or the West Bank.
I know, it wasn't going to be through Israel. It was going to be through Rafah, potentially, because at the time, if the ceasefire stuck, they would have reopened the Rafah border. Obviously, that's not even a thing anymore.
Been covering this shit like 6 years now. You would like, what? How'd you even come up with that idea? I think you made a big mistake there. But Hasan would never be allowed into Israel, and that this guy, who, by the way, his name is Some Ordinary Gamers. What the f does that mean? You're multiple gamers.
The framing is off. It's why this video is so irresponsible to do. No, it's just like he likes farming drama so that he can actually make coherent points that are pro-Palestinian about like the conditions on the ground for dummies that don't know anything. And it's not the bad. It's not the worst way of doing things. He's just like he's trying to farm engagement while simultaneously slam in slam in as much education as he possibly can. It's for a different audience. What? I mean, not necessarily. I also don't give a shit that he is uncharitable to me and dare I say objectively stupid in the way that he talks about some of the things that I do. Like we can have a difference in tactics or a difference in opinion, okay? But it's just like idiotic to be like, it was such a bad thing to say. It was such a bad idea. Like I came up with it on my own. You know what I mean? Like I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna go. No, and even then I said it's very unlikely that it will happen because it's impossible to get full safety.
Some Ordinary Gamers? What the kind of a name is that? I thought my name was bad.
Yeah, No, he's literally saying Hasan should know better because he's been covering this issue for 6 years, which is not, it's been longer than that. It's 10. But he's saying Hasan should know better and know that he would never be allowed into Gaza, let alone Israel, which I know. Yeah, I know that. Anyway, that's like not the main point here at all.
And it's unlikely that he would be as well. Though Israel keeps tabs on everyone's social media like usage and stuff. Basically, any prominent person, they know who you are. They have like notes on you, things that...
He's right that you couldn't go to Israel. He just doesn't know about your personal connections. For example, Israel banned Representative Ilhan Omar and Representative Rashida Tlaib from visiting. He f***ed up the point. Yeah. But even then, it would never have been through Israel. Like, that's insane to think. Like, it's insane and uncharitable to assume that I personally, as someone who has also been covering this for a decade at this point, am oblivious to the realities of Gaza and also oblivious to how this would happen logistically. You know what I mean? Especially because I'm Turkish. Like, Mavi Marmara happened already. It was a humanitarian aid group organized to cut through the Israeli blockade to offer humanitarian aid into Gaza directly. And the Israeli occupying force literally slaughtered these humanitarian aid workers. That was decades prior. That was a decade prior to a decade prior to October 7.
That you've said about Israel, and if you try to enter, they go over those notes and they probably will deny you. If he said anything even remotely anti-Israel, he's gone. There's no chance, especially because he's Muslim. But there's people who go beyond that and who apparently don't even have the brain power to think about the fact that obviously he's not going to be allowed in ever, not just because he's not going to get into Israel, but also because they don't let foreigners into Gaza.
How would BadEmpanada know you were talking to someone behind the scenes? Did you reveal that at any point? Yes. At the beginning of the point. Why does everybody here know how the I was? Yes, I did. Of course I did. Once again, people are being stupid. Just because they didn't seek out the context of how I was talking about this doesn't mean that that context was never revealed. Why is that my fault? You didn't look for it. I don't like that it's just like, I don't like that the commentary here is just like so disparaging where it's just like, oh yeah, this silly asshole influencers like, oh, I want to go to Gaza and film myself like meh. Like I'm Johnny Somali or some shit. Like, what are you guys stupid? What are we doing here? What am I doing? What the am I doing at all? I hate this. I hate that like other people's stupidity and lack of interest in like seeking out the truth somehow becomes my issue, you know? Free Rand is not the only place I talked about this, dumbass. This conversation first materialized on stream when I was talking to Jeremy Scahill. And I even brought it up on Fearand as well.
But even if he was allowed in, you know, it's a active genocide. What do you think would happen? Well, don't worry, because Ethan and Hila Klein are on the case to let us all know about how Hasan Piker should apparently enter Gaza, which is a thing that they keep putting forth is even possible, but that if it were possible, that's like a death threat. Go to Gaza, that is just...
But BadEmpanada only saw the Fearand clip? Yeah, he should know better. That's my point. Perhaps he should know better if he knows of my advocacy of the work that I've done in this, you know, in this regard. Maybe he shouldn't also think that I'm some dumb broccoli haircut Zoomer TikToker who just wants to go to Gaza and film it. Like, you know? Why is that your first inclination? Why is that the first assumption that you have? Because you adopted the framework of like these douchebags, you know? It's kind of funny that Chad is getting mad at you for contextualizing and basically want you to let BadEmpanada say whatever he wants with no context. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, what are you guys talking about? And it's not like I hadn't explained this, you know? BadEmpanada knows what clip chimps look like. Why the fuck is he also leaning on the clip chimp? You know? Anyway, I know this is how he is, which is why I normally don't cover it, because I also don't want my audience to develop resentment towards him either. I don't give a shit that he's doing this. Yeah, he can farm me all day, every day. As long as he's pro-Palestine, which he is, unconditionally and uncompromisingly, I don't care, okay? But when dumb in my community constantly go, why don't you watch BadEmpanada's latest video? He called you out. He said you enable liberal Zionism. This is why I don't watch it, because my disagreements with BadEmpanada in terms of tactics, in terms of rhetoric, in terms of what I'm trying to do, ultimately are for the same goal, okay? Palestinian emancipation, an end to the occupation. So I think it's irrelevant and distracting to just constantly chirp back and forth at one another over clips that I'm sure some of his fans, that are my fans as well, will clip and then feed to him, and then he'll make another video on it. It is utterly unproductive, you know? This is the downside of engaging in serious analysis but you know, dipping your toes in the slop tuber drama focus side of things. You know, that's it.
Straight up a death threat. But look at these morons, what they say. Why does he look like this? What is this?
You have more emotion, so is wild he critiques you on the subject? No, that's first of all, just because I have more emotion doesn't mean that like I'm infallible. Plenty of people critique me all the time. And it is valid. If I were to do something that is worthy of critique, then yeah.
Hair. Just get the Harley and get divorced already. You're already there. Ethan, buy the Harley Davidson. Get like a custom.
Yeah, like this is the type of shit I don't really care about. You know what I mean? As far as like the way that BadEmpanada does stuff, like I think like it is, it's irrelevant. And Ethan will cry about this over and over again and be like, "You're so ruthless to me," or whatever. Meanwhile, he's literally endlessly more ruthless to anyone who is not even directly attacked Ethan, but simply attacked Ethan's favorite apartheid state that's currently doing a genocide. But it is what it is, you know.
Brown poop Harley Davidson. That'd suit you. Get divorced. Start driving around. Begin the midlife crisis. You're already there, dude. You're there already. Stop delaying.
Ongoing joke we've had on the show. Hasan was like, I'm thinking of going to Gaza. And then the guy on TikTok was like, he's actually...
You
Go
would
ahead,
much
Zach.
rather spend your time going after someone who is actually considering genuinely going to Gaza.
Wait, what is happening here? Like, what? Who is this other voice? What is this? What? What the happens in this broadcast, bro? I swear to God, every time I see a new Ethan Klein clip, I'm like, things have devolved so dramatically. Like, what is this? Is this even a soundbite that's for goofs and gaffs any longer? Is there a person in the room speaking? I don't know what the is happening. Some TikToker that defended you, I assume? What? So he's just moved on from directly on me, and now he's just like on people who have defended me. Is that what it is? How could this be fun for anyone? This is what I don't understand. Like, how could you be a guy who's like, I want to know about, I don't know, Blake Lively, right? And you click on, and this 40-year-old man with dyed hair is just like crying about some random 33-year-old douchebag on Twitch. How the is this in any way, shape, or form entertaining for you? Unless you already came in locked in with hatred in your heart towards me, or because you love Israel or some shit. I genuinely don't understand it. I know for a fact that if I spent as much time on Ethan Klein on this broadcast, my numbers would plummet, because after the 14th day in a row of talking about Ethan Klein, my audience would be like, what the are you doing? They already do that. Sometimes accidentally Ethan gets brought up, okay? And people still get mad. They're like, bro, stop talking about Ethan. And you're right, I should. From podcast co-hosts debating your reply guys, truly a glow up from our GOAT. Yeah. I don't understand why he is so terrified of talking to me, or talking to BadEmpanada, or talking to Matt Lieb, talking to any number of people, that he will resort to like clipping of TikTokers that have defended me. Like, what? You know? Why? Why? What is going on here? He offered to debate the TikToker in the soundbite. No shot. Oh, that's crazy. Oh, so there are people he's willing to talk to. It's just not the people that he's routinely trying to present in a false light. Yes, they DM random TikTok accounts that defend you and ask them to come on. That is so cowardly, dude. Oh my God. What a cowardly little baby. Oh my God. Ugh. Ugh. He's so scared. Holy shit.
Now, this is funny, and everybody knows it. This is where it came from. And I'm just showing the stolen valor that he's trying to claim. So
stolen valor?
Stolen valor? What the does that mean?
This is from his subreddit, people glazing him up. He's thinking of going to Gaza.
Dude, I might actually take Marsh with me to
The clip that
Gaza.
we already
No.
watched, obviously.
Oh,
Gaza?
But these people react to it in like a way that makes literally no sense. Like, no one involved in this even thought of the fact that no one who is even remotely anti-Israel is ever going to be allowed to get into Gaza.
Oh my God. Yes, you're right, BadEmpanada. I guess Ethan is correct in, yelling about me saying this, considering that that's your position as well, isn't it? That I have not put any thought into this whatsoever. BadEmpanada's a little autistic chill. Yeah, so am I, dude. This is not a political podcast.
Ever, let alone Israel. Certainly not Israel. Certainly not Gaza.
Did you say Gaza? No.
You can say no.
I already asked him. He said yes.
Marsh, are you serious?
Look,
I'm not going to Gaza.
I was not asking.
This segment, they call it Hasan's Crazy Theory. I wonder what the crazy part is.
Well, now that I've heard that it's dangerous.
Oh, that's crazy.
Hasan, seriously, you should consider.
I also was.
Okay, so here's Hasan. He's back. He's all like, yeah, no, guys. And here he look at all the kudos he's getting on his subreddit. The most recent fear, and Hasan mentioned possibly going to Gaza, and it seemed pretty serious about it. Has this been discussed before? My God, you guys. Oh my God, you guys.
I just want to note, like, the background noise in this show, how the is that even possible? They have 20 employees. Listen to the mic noise. What is this? Listen to you can hear, like, it's like 25 decibels, dude. What are they in a air tunnel?
This is the joke. It's very funny. And so now here he is trying to listen to how he's trying to frame this now.
You know what he probably realized? He can't go. He can't get into Israel. He certainly can't get
Yeah, and this was already a part of the conversation from the jump. That was a thing that I had factored in when talking about it. The origin was from your interview with Jeremy Scahill, yet he pulled a clip from your subreddit. Truly not cyberstalking at all. No, it wasn't even from the... Here. I'll just say this. I'm talking to some journalists who have operated inside of Gaza, who are from Gaza, and I'm working already to potentially go in as well if there is ever an opportunity to do so. I'm just letting you guys know. In terms of going into Gaza, it is very dangerous. Obviously, with how Israel operates in that area, but let's see if there's a way to safely do such a thing. Like I said, the key term here, the key phrase here is if it's safely. If it can be done safely, I will try to do it. All right, I'm going to call Jeremy now. That was the first time I ever brought it up. There were folks that thought if the ceasefire held and the Rafah crossing opened up, BadEmpanada is not watching the personal news segment, Hasan. I'll keep it 100. This is not a part of the personal news segment. This is just right before I interviewed Jeremy Scahill, I was talking about it. This is also before the Trump administration had started detaining and trying to deport people for even being pro-Palestine. So if you guys want to understand the context, this is the context. This is how I started talking about it. When you see, here's the problem. When you see something that's 30 seconds long or a minute long, why the is your assumption that there is probably not more thought being put into it? This question is not for Ethan. This question is for BadEmpanada. Okay? Like, you know what I do. You know the people I work with. Why the would you also assume, like this donkey over here, that I had not put any forethought into this whatsoever? And the same goes for dumbass chatters. Like, I don't expect BadEmpanada to literally do his due diligence when covering slop in an effort to drive home the point that Israel is a mass murder machine of journalists, because that's the main point of this slop tuber adjacent commentary here. I get it. I understand what he's doing. He's trying to use, popular content creators and the stupid drama that they try to cultivate, Ethan, in an effort to explain to people that are seeking out some context on this drama that the situation is impossible. Like, the situation is horrifying in Gaza, right? That's the point. That's the reason why BadEmpanada is covering this. But in the process of doing that, do you not have any critical thinking skills? Like, you didn't think for a moment that, like, this was one, on invitation, and two, something that I was working on, three, was completely aware of all the impossibilities, all of the hurdles, That's it. Be a little bit more charitable. He doesn't care, man. Why do you think he cares? Because he knows that, I think, because he does care about Palestine, because he does care about the things that I advocate for, and many of those things he also advocates for as well. He cares about the issues. He doesn't care about like the content creators. Content creators are disgusting in his eyes, and that's understandable. I totally get where he's coming from with that attitude. Is this what H3 does every podcast? I think so. Yes.
Get into Gaza either. I think it's a pretty bad idea to put yourself at the mercy of Israeli border guards by flying to Israel for the off chance that they
There was never a moment where I would. Oh my God. There was never a moment where I would go into Gaza from Israel. Oh my God. It would be through Rafah. What the Why does he keep saying this? Watching the same mistake you made with E happening again? No, I think that I don't give a shit if he's going to farm me off of drama, okay? I don't care about that. He's not going to magically turn into someone who's pro-Israel, okay?
somehow won't know who you are as like a guy with 1 million followers and who's anti-Israel.
Dark ass loser.
You? Oh my God, how does this guy get
Initially-
us saying this shit?
Ethan and Hila apparently have been talking about like sending me to Gaza.
Okay, like, please
What?
give me a break,
What?
bro.
Yeah,
No, but
that's
this
what
is
they've
what he
been
does with
saying.
everything.
They have been
He does-
obsessed with it. Like, they want him to go there because obviously they know what happens to you if you go to Gaza. These people know what happens. If someone somehow was to get into Gaza, they would be the highest chance of dying in the least amount of time in the world. You go to Gaza because Israel bombs everything and everyone there. They don't care if you're a foreigner. They don't care if you're Palestinian. All they care is that you're there and they want you dead. So it's a death threat.
Is with everything. We're joking about how
Go to Gaza is no different to saying go to Auschwitz in 1944. It's no different to saying get in the oven. That's what they're saying to him. Go and die with the other subhumans. That is what they're saying.
he's a
Why
coward.
does it say funded by Disney next to your name? I don't know. I don't know what they're doing over there, dude. I don't watch. I don't know any of this shit.
He got
He's a
all the credit in the
coward, like
world
he has
for
a-
thinking.
Like he ever had a chance. He's a coward. Doesn't want to get bombed in a precision strike by Israel. I mean, do you?
Of going to Gaza,
Oh
but
my
then when he found out he
God,
couldn't
I
get
haven't
sick,
seen this yet.
what's new?
Oh my God, says literal war criminal terrorist Hila Klein. The baby terrorizer Hila Klein.
Just happened. March 17. It happened 4 days ago.
I was excited he finally remembered my name, but then
Did he forget
Wow.
what's her name?
What is happening, dude? This is so. It's so weird, man. What do you mean? Part of the reason why I don't really talk about Hila all that much is because, oh God, they're going to clip this and they're going to freak out over this too. Part of the reason why I don't talk about it is because it's mostly Ethan that's doing this. I don't care what the feedback or input is from anybody else. And it's also out of respect still to a certain degree that I try to keep my defense of myself as directional as possible. You know, it's just like it's so strange.
he never says my name.
He should just call you the terrorist wife. That's what you are.
But yeah,
He doesn't like to.
That's the
think
most
he's saying 'cause-
excited she's ever been in her life.
Yeah, that. Oh, I don't like the what, Ethan? Constantly attack female content creators, call them bitches. You know, yeah, yeah. I don't, especially because I understand that a fraction of my output, if it reflected what Ethan does on a daily basis, if I gave back 10% of what Ethan has been doing, he loses his mind, dude. This is one of those moments. This, most likely not this part, but the clip surrounding this will probably be heavily featured on Ethan's show once again. Because anytime I even remotely mention him in an effort to defend myself because he's just said something that is like so incredibly wrong, I get Instagram stories for a week, multiple segments every single day. H3 subreddit posts talking about like, oh my God, his merch can't possibly be unionized. His merch possibly can't be union made. Yeah, go after the Teamsters now, dude. And the only reason why he does that is because he can't take a fraction of the smoke in return, in person, man to man. He can't do that. I find it really funny, by the way, that he's like promoting my merchandise. That's been really funny because he's been just like trying to on my merch. It's like, bro, Teddy Fresh. Like, really? What's the saying? Don't cast stones from glass houses? Like, really? Really? He's allergic to research, I think. Yeah, the Teamsters logo is literally on the tags. Like, it says Union Made in the USA. It's so wild, dude. It's so wild. He's like do people not, and do people in Ethan's fan base not realize like when he does dumb shit like this, he opens himself to an endless faucet of attack, and the only reason why I don't do that is because I think it's irrelevant. Like, does he actually think that he is not worthy of criticism on this front? On the one hand, this who makes his shit in China and upmarks it, okay, his shit is more expensive than mine, okay? Teddy Fresh is more expensive than the product that I put out, okay? Last time he talked about it, he couldn't even believe that it was union made. Last time he talked about it, he couldn't believe that it was USA made because he was like, it's $35. There's no way. He would be making no profit. Oh, that's crazy. Are my profit margins that narrow? Interesting. Maybe it's because the merch in and of itself is mostly for the fans because they want it, and not because I can farm them with products made in China that I upmarked to $75 or whatever. You know, like, how can you do that? How can you say this? How can you on this? How can you on this with no research whatsoever while simultaneously putting out Teddy Fresh garbanzo? Like, what are we doing? What the f are we doing here? What's next, dude? Is he gonna start suspecting that I'm like on Ozempic or some shit? Oh no, I gave him a new line of speculation. Instagram story incoming. Like, it just blows my mind. It truly blows my mind that he's talking about this and also trying to cast doubt. What's the name of the union? I don't know, man. Ask your producers. They have my merchandise. The tag is in the merch. What is this? Posting his own L's?
We're done. I saw this kid. I wanted to say sorry for taking out your parents, but I don't speak terrorist, so I wanted to give the kid a lollipop, but then the kid pulled out a teddy bear, and what people don't know is bears are really dangerous. They have sharp claws and teeth. Yeah, bears are dangerous, dude. Bears kill what, like 80,000 people a year?
Yeah.
And yet Hasan and his fans want you to pick the bear over the man in the woods? Give me a break, dude. What a joke. Yeah, way to protect women over there, Hasan. What a bunch of fuck. Okay, are we back? So anyway, what'd you do? Right. And you know, I was scared.
He even put the button in it? Hey, yo. Wait, why did he post this full joke?
Scared for my.
Wait, why is this just a self-own at that point? Like, what are you? Ethan is just lol-cowing himself. Just for clarity, this TikTok is not a fan of yours. Yeah. I know. I remember he was upset because you know, he thinks I'm also not sufficiently woke, or I am pro sex work, and that's, you know, something like that. I remember
My life, so I just opened fire.
Viral TikTok about Hila killing children. There used to be neo-Nazis making these jokes. I don't understand. Oh, he thinks you're a misogynist. Yeah, I think he likes me, but he thinks I'm a misogynist. Something like that. I don't know. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. He's funny. This is a funny joke. And yeah, people can have disagreements with me. It's fine. Other than these clips in the video, their whole show was on your merch and your dog. What the f? Oh, yeah. Why would you post this? He said I was commercializing Kaya. Again, stone glass house. Ethan has done photo shoots with his dogs. What the f? They said that you keep peddling Kaya for attention and that you need to respect her privacy. Okay, that's got to be a joke. Never mind. Yeah. Also, they're lying about the brothel now. They've done a full Epstein at this point. I'm pretty sure that wait, oh, what? I'm pretty sure that, again, like, Ethan himself also knew what the truth was about the brothel raid 6 years after I had gone to the brothel that is still in operation. It's a legal brothel in Germany. It's called Artemis. I guess he just like forgot. He forgot everything, every conversation that we had.
Hasan Piker said my name.
You said you'd pay for it last time we were talking about it.
Who said they paid for it?
I think he's referring to last
He said it as well. They both made this same idiotic talking point. That's incredible.
time you were saying you would even pay for it to prove that he's lying. You'd pay for his trip.
I don't think. Yeah, I would. First of all, I would. I don't think that's
in relation to Muda, because that's what he said.
Muda said that. Yeah, but anyway, the money doesn't matter. Obviously, he's rich. He could afford to go there if he wanted. But the point is, he's like, they couldn't offer me security assurances, so I'm not going. It's like
everyone here is just missing the forest for the trees. You couldn't get in the first place. You couldn't get into Israel, which is a prerequisite for getting into the West Bank or Gaza.
That's not true. The Rafah border was supposed to be cleared out of Israeli troops. That was literally one of the conditions of the ceasefire. BadEmpanada knows this. It is very odd that BadEmpanada is forgetting that there is a border with the Gaza Strip and Egypt. Yes, Israel did not clear the Rafah border as they claimed they would. The Philadelphia corridor is still occupied by Israeli troops. That is the entire point of the ceasefire. That was supposed to be the conditions, the basic conditions for the ceasefire to hold. I don't know why BadEmpanada, who is more knowledgeable on this issue than literally everyone else involved, with the exception of myself, is just forgetting this basic fact, or perhaps thinking that I am oblivious to this basic fact, which I think is so stupid.
And then they certainly wouldn't let you into either of those places. You wouldn't even get past the first hurdle. No one is even bringing that up. But obviously, if he somehow got into Gaza, yes, he would get bombed and killed by Israel. Israel does precision strikes on journalists constantly.
It's so funny. There's like two different BadEmpanadas. I swear to God, when he's doing like a well thought out, like well-sourced YouTube video, it's like an entirely separate person. I feel like he has like two different BadEmpanadas, you know? There's the BadEmpanada and then there is the worst empanada, okay? It's not good versus BadEmpanada because he's still a bad bitch even when he's on point. But I swear to God, you watch him on essays, you're like, wow, this person clearly cares about critical thinking and researching the subject matter that he covers. Look at all of the academic resources that he has linked in the bottom of the channel. And then when he's talking about drama, he is, and I said this before, when he's talking about like the loner box stuff too, like when he's talking about drama, he's just like flying off the handles. He does not give a about anything. He's just like, yeah, yeah, everyone involved is stupid except for me. I think I'm sure Hasan is not. What is this? Germany trafficking? Mass police raid on Berlin. Mega brothel 14 April 2016. Hundreds of police raided Artemis sauna. Yeah, you're right. Are you wrong or lying? Germany trafficking. I wonder if that's the last time that, I guess, cops raided the brothel and that's that, huh? Please don't look into anything else. Please, no matter what you do, don't Google anything else about the Artemis sauna, which is still in operation. So strange that it's still in operation. I wonder how that happened. How is it still so no trafficking? Yes, dumb. That's the point. What is happening? Why are people, dude, every single argument that people get in with me revolves around them refusing to do like basic additional research. Just basic additional research. Here is apparently this is the clip of Ethan talking about it versus Ethan talking about it back in 2021. Let's see.
Although I don't think people cheat on their wives because they're not.
It's not about. Yeah. It's usually not about like looks or whatnot. It's.
By the way, this is like him talking about a pedophile Republican. I don't know why the he's bringing me up here.
Deeper than that, like psycho shit.
It could be a control thing. Like why? Like why would someone like Hasan go have sex with a prostitute at a brothel?
Wait, why'd you ban this guy? He was on the verge of arriving at the truth. Oh, he just said yourself. wait, I'm unbanning this person. That's so funny. You got triple tap too. Wait, he went German trafficking. So no trafficking then? Then he goes, you are watching BadEmpanada, scumbag, which by the way, BadEmpanada is yelling at me in this video that I'm watching as well. But I guess that he lost that. Okay. But hold on. Immediately, he's corrected on the matter, and he goes, yourself. Oh, that's awesome. That's cool, man. That's a good point that you made. Yeah.
In Europe, that got later.
Oh, that's not what I meant. I just meant the shit part.
No, what do you mean?
Just personally, I meant the cheating and the like pedo part.
Well, why would someone like Hasan, with people throwing themselves at his feet, find the need to have sex with a prostitute?
I don't know.
Wait, first of all, I was 19, dude. What are you talking about?
That was later rated for human trafficking. He lies about that. It says it was tax. It was both.
Interesting.
It was human trafficking and tax.
You are elevating BadEmpanada? Dog, you just told me to kill myself. What are you talking about? After being corrected on this information, just watch the rest of this clip.
To me, that's kind of pathological for someone Hasan to go have a...
So is Childen the rape at 19? Wait, what? Rape? What are you talking about? Now you're calling me a rapist. Like, are you okay? Are you all right? Chatter, you're hallucinating. Okay?
Sleep with a prostitute, like that's just fucking weird.
You are trafficked women. No, I'm not.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They might have a good time going to a brothel together. Hasan Piker went to a brothel.
I was chewing loud and I must have missed something.
No, you didn't miss anything. I was talking about Hasan Piker going to have sex with a prostitute at a brothel.
You know what I want for my birthday?
A prostitute?
For us to enjoy the ice cream.
And I believe the brothel is now suing the city of Berlin for damages too. On top of that,
I actually have an excerpt here. It says, "The Berlin authorities."
Wait a minute. That's Ethan is your favorite content creator, right? Lenigma? Huh. Wait. Here's Ethan himself. Wait, what? But this clip is from now, and this is from back then. Wait, what? Wait, hold on.
I have an excerpt here. It says, the Berlin authorities raided Artemis in a human trafficking investigation. Some people on, let's see here. Basically what they do is, I guess the authorities do routine investigations. They drop in to see if there's any like human trafficking there. They didn't find any human trafficking there.
Yeah, but he's implying that there was.
Right, because what they actually did arrest people for, as you said, was tax fraud and withholding Social Security contributions. So there was no arrests about human trafficking, in fact, and it's routine.
But you were manipulating him and hiding your real positions? It's just odd because he found this information himself. So how the f did that happen?
And anyway, it was the people arrested were related to tax fraud.
Yeah, I mean the fucking.
But I'm not the one who brought this up. Ethan did. He's reading from a news article. So it's not even me manipulating him. I guess he's manipulating himself. And in this situation, manipulating himself requires him, manipulating himself in this instance means reading a news article. This is from 2023, 2 years after. Remember when I said the brothel is also famously suing the Berlin government? Yeah. Here's the end of that lawsuit. Berlin pays brothel $250,000 compensation over police raid. The operators of the Artemis brothel had launched 2 lawsuits after the police raided the premises in 2016. The city administration has apologized for detaining staff and making prejudicial statements at a press conference. The city of Berlin has issued an apology to a major brothel and paid 250,000 euros, $269,000 in compensation over a police raid that happened 7 years ago. Hundreds of police raided the Artemis sauna and brothel near West Croix in 2016, detaining several people on suspicion of human trafficking, tax evasion, and other violations. Crimes like these can be common in the German sex work industry, which in and of itself is not illegal. At a press conference afterwards, public prosecutors made references to organized crime. But the accusations could not be proven, and the Berlin Regional Court would not admit the prosecution's case in 2018. The two operators of the brothel then took the city to court for wrongful detention before reaching a settlement with the administration. The state of Berlin apologized for pretrial detention and the considerable disadvantages suffered by those accused at the time as a result of the search, the pretrial detention, the indictment, and the statements made by the public prosecutor's office, the city's judicial administration said in a statement on Friday. A years-long legal battle. Last December, the Berlin Court of Appeal ruled that the comments made by the public prosecutor's office at a press conference were prejudicial, exaggerated, lurid, and culpably in breach of official duties. It ordered the city administration to pay 100,000 euros in damages, but the operators also had launched a second lawsuit for wrongful detention and demanded a considerably higher amount. The apology and 250,000 euros in compensation were a part of the settlement reached by the city to the brothel operators. The case is now closed. They claim they will use the cash to compensate the female employees who were detained at the time and will donate the remainder to charity. What happened to the guy who was chirping at me earlier? What? I will come back to the for the nuke live. Cool, you aren't a rapist. Prove me wrong. Do it with the rest of the nuke. How hard is that? My bad, not a rapist. Now do the exact thing. Dude, what the my bad for accusing you as a rapist was uninformed. Dog, if you were this uninformed, but this over the top with such a ridiculous claim, you said kill yourself, you fake socialist scum. Okay? You said kill yourself. You said kill yourself, you fake socialist scum. Okay? The guy that you are doing this for has lied to you about this. The guy himself knew what the truth was, and he's still actively defaming me. And at no point do you go, hey, maybe that dude is just lying to me because he's personally upset. Like, how are you still mad? You shouldn't be mad at me. You should be mad at him for lying to you, for duping you. It doesn't make any sense. Oh, and now your account is deactivated site-wide because you said kill yourself twice. I unbanned you and you said kill yourself again. I don't think there's any way that I can ever get people like this to just like see the truth, you know? If someone lies to you, okay? If a content creator lies to you for one reason or another, and then you get corrected as you are in the process of fighting their battles for him, you know, telling me to myself or whatever. By the way, I'm not like Ethan, so I won't be posting this on my Instagram stories and crying about how Ethan just defames me on a daily basis with like easily identifiable lies that he himself knows the truth about, and therefore opens up a faucet of harassment by fans of his that come in here to tell me to kill myself, that they're going to walk me out back, find me in West Hollywood and shoot me in the head because they believe the lies that Ethan has said. If I was like him, if I was a whiny little baby like him, I'd be making 1 million videos about this, constantly crying about it and being like, see, this is what he's doing. Why does nobody care? This is what he's doing. And the difference between me and Ethan would be that I would be valid in actually talking about this shit because I have not done a fraction of the things that Ethan has done to me for the past 15 months at this point. Okay? That's the difference. And he mistakes my lack of interest in entertaining his drama slop loving ass for some sort of fear, I think. That's the difference.
Brothel is still in operation. Yeah, it's not like
this man went from making fun of Ryan Kavanaugh to becoming Ryan Kavanaugh. How the do his fans not realize that? He became everything he hates. He shot on Keemstar. Now he's aligned with Keemstar and turning into Keemstar. And it happened like so fast.
Like, you know what I mean?
I mean, what the why would he do that?
Well, yeah, why would people do that?
Like, you know what I mean?
I mean, what the why would he do that?
Yeah, why would they do that? That's crazy. Why would Ethan do that? Is a question I ask myself all the time. Why would Ethan do this? What's the name of the union? Easily could figure it out so easy. Yeah. I've talked to Palestinian journalists and they've like wanted me to come out.
Mm-hmm. Really? Wow. Oh my God.
And wait, what? So what? No counter to that? Just really, wow. Oh my God. That's it. Okay. I can't get any security assurances against Israel, obviously.
Well, bro, it's not like Israel
that is worried.
Look, it's not like Israel's going to do a precision strike on Hasan. They don't.
Really? Now, why would he say that? The notion that Israel would not do that is insane. You must not have been paying any attention to what Israel has been doing. You must not have paid attention to the conversations that you and I had over Israel doing exactly that to Shireen Abu Akleh. That was one of the last episodes that we ever filmed of The Leftovers post October 7. Israel has American citizens. Israel and Shireen Abu Akleh was an American legal permanent resident as well. I talked to him about this. He knows this. I talked to him on camera.
Yeah, but it is dangerous. It's a war zone. Like, I agree, it's dangerous.
Sure,
They
it's
may.
a war zone.
They may.
But what?
He was in the running for anti-Semite of the year. They may.
Nah,
I don't think you guys understand Israel. It doesn't work like that.
They're not.
Oh, it doesn't work like that. We just simply didn't understand Israel. No, I think it's because we do understand Israel, and we know that it works like that. I think it is you who doesn't understand Israel or refuses to understand what Israel does. Now, if this wasn't dovetailing on a faucet of misinformation, in this circumstance, I wouldn't care about it. I'd be like, oh, there must be a mistake, and it's fine. I'd be more charitable. But at this point, I know that this is in defense of Israel. Okay? This is no longer stupidity. It's malicious. That's it. There was a point in time where I would have considered this just like, oh, they just don't know. They don't know. It's fine. Like, I can have a conversation with them. Also, this is textbook defamation by Ethan. He provably knows what he's saying about you is a lie, as shown in this 2021 clip, but he still parrots a known lie with the intent to try and ruin your image. I know.
It's not. Regardless, I agree it's dangerous, right?
Yeah.
It's dangerous in a war zone.
Right.
Not because Israel will like target him.
Yeah. It's dangerous in a war zone. Israel won't target him. It'll just be a casualty due to the oopsies that Israel does.
Which they deny here as well. They do precision strikes on Palestinians who send mean things in English on...
Doing this is what made me realize he's so wrong. I thought was about his defense of Israeli civilians, but no, he only cares about himself and is personally upset about what I really don't know. But is stupid and cowardly, and as a man who has 3 kids and a wife and 4 dogs, I can't respect anything he does as a grown 40-year-old man anymore. Is so sad. I mean, he's been doing this nonstop. He has not stopped doing this. And it's like it becomes like increasingly funnier ways in which he basically humiliates himself. That's the craziest aspect of it, is that it's becoming increasingly dumber, like saying that my glasses are fake. Like, what the
about Israel on social media as well. They literally target them in their house. Like, I think in this they talk about like Israel doesn't do that to journalists.
Yeah, we just made a joke
clip
about it.
Lots of
like I've talked to Palestinian journalists, and they've like wanted me to come out.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Wow. Oh my God.
And
that's your reaction to that?
I mean,
obviously they want people to come, but they can't.
Security assurances against Israel, obviously.
Well, bro, it's not like Israel
that is worried.
Look,
about
it's not like Israel's going to do a precision strike on Hasan. They don't.
Yeah,
but it is dangerous. It's a war zone.
Israel does precision strikes on people, like for basically anything. Israel, for example, they have a population registry. They know where everyone lives, or at least where they live before they destroyed their house. They did a precision strike on the family home, for example, of Refat Al-Arir, who was a Palestinian poet / basically guy who spammed about how Israel is bad on social media during the genocide. They knew where he...
Refat Al-Arir was directly targeted, him and his family, because Barry Weiss put a hit on him.
Lived. They targeted his house because he was posting tweets about Gaza, about what was happening in Gaza from Gaza, and he was literally deliberately targeted in his house. This is not one occurrence. They precisely target journalists. Gaza is like so...
Yeah. Israeli military accused of targeting journalists and their families. This was a year ago, okay? This was when they had killed only 68 journalists. I say only because they've killed 100 now. They've killed almost 300 aid workers. I think 300. It might be a little bit more than that. They've killed hundreds of journalists, hundreds of aid workers, and they've deliberately targeted them in the process too. It's not like it's just a war zone. That right there is not so subtle genocide denial, by the way, because it's a war zone. It's not a genocide.
Impossibly dangerous for journalists compared to anywhere else in the world, that like more journalists have been killed there than have been killed in like 20 years of the Mexican drug war. It is completely unprecedented. They are very specifically targeted for their journalism. This is also not counting things like social media influencers, many of whom have been precisely targeted in their family homes. They are tracked, they are killed.
Yeah, like Meadow, who was who was assassinated in an internet cafe. They killed him. He was in an internet cafe. He was also a member of this community as well. Like, these guys they're insane. Anyone who defends them are insane.
They are specifically killed when their family is there with them. To say that like they wouldn't target a foreigner, Israel does very much target anyone in Gaza who they think they can reasonably kill, because they never face any consequences for that, and they know it. They would 100% assassinate like a foreign anti-Israel journalist if they thought they could get away with it. And Gaza is the situation where they're most likely to get away with it.
Like, I agree, it's dangerous.
It's a war zone.
It's dangerous because it's a war zone, says Hila, Klein, the raider of Ramallah, terrorist war criminal.
But what? He was
It's just a war zone, not because they target journalists, not because they massacre children.
Anti-Semite of the year. They may.
Nah,
I don't think you guys understand Israel. It doesn't work like that.
Israel doesn't work like that. Why not? Because the genocidal Zionist terrorists said so. Well, that's a good source. I believe that.
It's not. But regardless, I agree it's dangerous, right?
Yeah.
It's dangerous in a war zone.
It's just dangerous in a war zone. I mean, this
is genocide denial. Like, I think it's. I don't think she's being stupid.
Well,
I think she's being malicious. And yeah, it's also extra up that Ethan goes along with it because, as this user says, Hasan actually cried on their pockets explaining to them the intentional targeting and assassination of Shireen Abu Akleh, an American legal permanent resident as well, by the way. And here they are all laughing and joking about the exact same scenario. Before Shireen, it was Tom Herndal. If you're a journalist that supports Palestinians, even one with American or British citizenship, the IDF will shoot you in the head, be shielded from consequences by the U.S. and the Israeli government, and then laugh about your murder. Yeah, remember when all the people that Ethan is now aligned with made fun of me for crying there, by the way, and they said that it was fake. I was crying because Ethan was crying. I remember all those animals. But hey, remember, they're just like apolitical. They're just apolitical guys. They're not pro-Israel, you know? That was the only thing that Destiny, the Oreo guy, whatever his name is, like all of those orbiters, every single one of them was just basically laser focused on the conversation that me and Ethan were having, not even talking about the things that I was saying, but instead we're talking about my reactions. I was being too mean to Ethan when I certainly was not being mean to Ethan at all. No, they're not being paid by Israel, Shadows. What the fuck are you talking about? No, I think this is sillier than that. That makes too much sense. I think it's legitimately because as a narcissist, Ethan can't handle the fact that people don't think he's a brilliant advocate for progress because he is dick riding an apartheid state that's doing a genocide into oblivion, and he can't contend with that. If it was about money, if it was about drama farming for the pure monetary purpose, he would have dropped this a long ass time ago. Okay? He would have dropped it a long time ago. No, this is pure, petty, vindictive, malicious smearing. He's burning through his audience, dude. He's willing to go all out. He's willing to lose Instagram followers because he's constantly chirping about this. He's willing to lose sponsorships because he's constantly chirping about this. He's willing to lose subscribers because he's constantly chirping about this. Yeah, Willie Mac, Turkey Tom, Nick Eats Oreos, Chud Logic, Sloppers That Need E for Views. Yeah, all those. I don't even know half these dudes, but yeah, those guys. His employees are leaving. His view counts are down. Nothing will stop this man. He can have 30 people watching him and he'll still do this. Because for him, it's just like, it's psychotic. Like, it's just not, you know, it's not about money, I think. Yeah, he's lost 170,000 subs. He lost subs with the content nuke. It's truly insane. Like, he would nuke his own career, and he doesn't even care.
Statistically, that is proven wrong.
Also, he can defend a genocidal apartheid state. It is crazy.
Okay, let's look, for example, how many journalists died in...
You realize this means he will be forced to pivot to full-time anti-Hasan content as a way to keep the lights on? First of all, I think he has enough money to never make videos ever again and still be fine. That's number one. Number two, he already is doing that. That's my point. He is literally doing that every day. Every time he goes live, he does that every single time. And he's doing it at a detriment to his own community. Like, his community is completely gone. The remainder stands are the foot soldiers that carried over, that will, they're his fedayeen. They're not very knowledgeable on politics, and they'll just fight his battles for him. They're the girly pop nation that will go and like viciously dox and say horrible things to people that Ethan has in his crosshairs. But outside of that, the remainder of his like 10K, if his fan base, if his core fan base now is like 20K average viewers, right? 10,000 of them are just like the slop tuber orbiters that are constantly looking for a new lol cow, and have been for the past couple of years at this point, hoping that I become this lol cow. So Ethan is like continuing that battle for them. Okay? This man used to have like 40K on a bad day. His podcast used to have 40K on a bad day. He's getting half of that now. It's crazy. And it's like he's lost his core fan base because they were all progressive. They came in after frenemies and like they liked that Ethan had progressive values, and many of them could not contend with the fact that Ethan was just like constantly saying stuff that was very suspicious about Israel, that didn't seem all too progressive. And now the mask is completely off. And I don't even know if it was like, I don't even know if he was I don't think he was pro-Israel before October 7th to this degree. I think this is like a new phenomena in his world. I'm not even at this point, I'm not even sad like, oh, I lost a friend. Like, that's sad, sure. But I think it's more sad that his community used to be a fairly robust, fairly large, progressive community. And at a time when Donald Trump is running his dick through the federal agencies and ruining the goddamn country, now there's another, centrist, right-wing adjacent content creator. Like, this sucks. Like, think about that. Under normal circumstances, someone who claims to be pro-Palestine, would they be occupying themselves with like making a joke about how Israel would never kill journalists? What are you talking about? Or would they be talking about how the Trump administration has unjustifiably deported and also locked up American legal permanent residents, green card holders, and have deported students on student visas for being in the proximity of a pro-Palestinian protest? Like, what do you think is more important to the pro-Palestinian cause if you claim to be a pro-Palestinian advocate? Coming after me in increasingly sillier ways, in increasingly more personal ways, like smearing me all the time, thinking about me when I'm not even the subject matter? Like, this dude literally brought my name up. He brought my name up while talking about a pedophile, rapist, Republican congressperson. Like, that's insane. Like, that's the image that you want your fans to associate with me. Like, I get it. You want them to hate me as much as you do, but god damn, dude. Trump agrees with him about his most important issue, supporting the Israeli genocide and targeting pro-Palestinian people. Yeah, I mean, the Trump admin is just locking up random people. He also said you probably called him the K-slur. That's insane. Did you know that Ethan's stream is constantly on the Hasan? Viewers also watch recommendations for your stream? Great. I don't care. I don't think anyone that watches my content is... If you watch what I talk about with regular frequency, I don't think you're going to... I don't think you're going to entertain the insane shit that Ethan says. You're going to be like, what the wait, why is the Vape Nation guy doing Hasbara, doing insane defense for the apartheid state? Like, if you're a fan of mine and then you encounter any Ethan Klein video, you're going to be like, what the the is this?
In the entire Iraq War, 282 journalists have been killed in Iraq in general in 20 years. In Gaza, 150 journalists were killed in less than a year. This is like by far the deadliest period of, and this is only journalists again. It doesn't count people like Refat Al-Arif. It doesn't count like the social media influencers who they've also targeted. It doesn't count the foreign aid workers.
From Vape Nation to defending Rape Nation. Fuck. Has Ethan talked about the pro-rape riots, the pro-rape January 6th in Israel? I don't think so. Maybe he did. I don't know.
Who they've also targeted, obviously, before they can get out and talk about what they saw. So there are many reasons why someone cannot simply go to Gaza, even if they did want to go there, even if they did want to take the immense risk of doing so. Reason one, Israel doesn't let you into Israel in the first place, and in order to get into Gaza or the West Bank, you have to go through Israel because Israel occupies Gaza and the West Bank. They're completely under Israeli control, obviously. What else? If you somehow did manage to get into Gaza, you would be killed. More than likely, you would just be killed.
No, Ethan totally thinks Netanyahu's the agent of genocide. It's why he has no issue with the Dems giving him a standing ovation and infinite arms, still fully supports them, whilst he'll never forgive you for saying Nasrallah's smart for saying Jews don't control the U.S. government. Yeah, he probably hates me more for that because he's like, how dare you show Hasan Nasrallah in his words about how Arabs are being anti-Semitic when they say Arabs are being dumb and anti-Semitic when they say Jews control the U.S. It's the other way around. It's the U.S. that controls Israel. Israel's an agent of the United States and Western imperialism.
Killed. Obviously, Israel carpet bombs the entire place. They're trying to eliminate the Palestinian people of Gaza. So yeah, you go there, you probably get.
Anyway, this is not an opportunity for you guys to just like link every dumb thing that he has said. Okay, I don't want you to do that. We're done with this segment. Okay, I don't want to do an entire segment dedicated to Ethan. And every time I talk about Ethan, all the usual suspects come in and they go, "See, he said this about you. He said that about you." Okay, you know. Hasan tells people he's a commie, then proceeds to live in a multi-million-dollar house and indulging in material possessions. Go donate your entire bank account to charity. Go move to the CCP. All bark, no action. What a disgrace. Typical neo-communist liberal. Indulging in material possessions. This man is so honest about his stupidity. I respect it. He's like, communism literally means, first of all, I don't think I'm a communist, but but he literally said communism means you can't own anything. Respect.
Killed. Telling someone to go to Gaza is a death threat. It's like saying get in the oven. And these guys are just saying it openly. But again, that's besides the point, because the idea that you could even somehow get into Israel, let alone Gaza, is in the first place.
Yeah, he said move to the CCP, which is also very funny. How the f do I move to the CCP?